Good morning. It's Miss Kari. I'm here to wish you a happy Easter, and we are not gathering, but I do have a story for you that I wanted to share. Today's story is called This is the Mystery of Easter. It's by Amelia Richardson Dress, and then the pictures are illustrated by Lily Moore. There was once a man who loved big enough to change the world. Who was that? It was Jesus. People knew he was in God, and God was in him. Everywhere he went, people would ask him, "What's the best way to live?" The man, whose name was Jesus, would answer, and what do you think he would say? I bet you know. Love. Love God. Love yourself. Love everyone else. Can you make a heart with your hands to show that love? Now, there were some people who didn't like what Jesus was teaching. They did not want to be told to love God, love themselves, and love everyone else. It is a very hard thing to love that big. Do you ever have trouble loving everyone else around you? Yeah, it can be hard. Instead of learning this hard thing, they decided to have Jesus killed. This is the hard part of the story. When we tell this part of the story, we always say, this is not the end of the story. The hard part of the story is that Jesus' enemies did not want to learn to love, so they had Jesus killed on a cross. The cross reminds us of a very sad thing. If you made one of the Lenten gardens, maybe you have a cross in your house that looks like this. But if not, that's okay too. Jesus' friends, the ones who knew that he was in God and that God was in him, were very sad. They remembered how they felt when Jesus was around, like God was with them too. Their hearts were broken. Remember, though, this is not the end of the story. Jesus' friends put him in a tomb, which was like a cave, and they used a big stone for the door. If you had one of the Lenten gardens, maybe you have a big stone, or maybe you can get one from your yard. Then they took some time to cry and hug and try to fix their broken hearts. I think that's a really important part of the story too. They did not know what was going to happen next, and they were really sad. What is going to happen is a surprise to them because they just think that Jesus is dead. And it's important when you're sad to take time to just acknowledge that those are your feelings. They were very sad. Their friend had died. Later, several of Jesus' friends went to the tomb where he was buried. Sometimes, when you are very sad because someone has died, it helps to visit their grave. The tomb, which had a stone in front of it, was like a grave, and Jesus' friends were very sad. When they got there, they discovered that the huge stone that had been blocking the entrance was out of the way. And so it was like, instead of this, it was over here. Inside, they saw a man dressed in a white robe who said to them, "Do not be afraid. You are sad, but here is good news. Jesus is alive again." Now, this is a mysterious story. This is the story that changes the cross. It still reminds us of a sad thing, but now it also reminds us of a good, important thing. Now it reminds us that no matter what happens, no matter how hard things are, we are with God and God is with us. That's the message of the cross now, right? This is the secret to loving God, loving yourself, and loving everyone else. The cross. And the message that God is always with you. Thanks for coming and listening to our story today. And I hope we will see you guys very soon in Sunday school or in person at one of our events. So thank you. Happy Easter.